Welcome back to the M3 podcasts. This week, we got Alex and Rick on from the MMG squad. We got Brock on again. How many times have you been on?
Twice.
Twice.
No, this is 2.
This is only 2.
I know, man.
I think Brock might just start being like a monthly member. That we just do like monthly memberships to come on the podcast.
How much does it cost me?
A lot.
A box of cigars.
One box of cigars.
One box of
precisely.
cigars or select bottles of bourbon and you can get on. So
Yeah.
we're back.
Deal.
All right. First membership. Log it. No, but this is also one that, I mean, we work out every morning together and hang out all the time. So there are certain podcasts that are just really easy for me and it just doesn't feel like podcasting. And we're getting ridiculed for not dropping podcasts every Monday right now. We are a little busy. No excuses. But no, I'm pretty excited for this one.
Yeah.
And Alex has been coming up with some questions. So he told me today, he was asking me a bunch of questions about you.
Well, I got my list in advance.
You
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get it either.
I was gonna run with it.
I'm not about lying here, okay? We're fully transparent. We're not going to lie to people, Alex. So Alex has his list of questions. Rick, if you have some questions too, or you're just in on answering them. Rick has a nice, cool LaCroix.
I do.
Over there.
We're looking for.
Oh, did you bring an
sponsorships.
extra one with you?
Yeah, I brought one for the road, and then you graciously provided a second
Oh.
one here. Very excited about it.
What a
Yep.
guy.
We got some bourbon on this
It's a
side.
good host.
So we'll hit questions till we either pass out or we decide it's over.
Hopefully not the first option.
I don't think the first option is going to happen, but
Right.
you can hang around and see.
But for the people who have not watched the first time that you were on, can you do an elevator pitch, quick introduction?
Yes.
I
I'm
totally
Brock
forgot
Nemeth.
that. I forgot that. So go for it.
Thanks. I'm Brock Nemeth. I sell real estate here in the Kansas City area. Work with the Eric Craig real estate team and Reese Nichols. Been selling real estate for 8, almost 9 years. Have several hundred transactions under my belt and looking forward to doing a lot more. I have a wife, beautiful wife, 2 beautiful children. Probably the most important part. Maybe should have let out with that. Sorry, Ashley.
His family's pretty dope. So I mean, they all come over to the house. So we're Matt and I are like the 2 children bearing people.
You guys are like the really fun aunt and uncle.
Yeah, that's I feel like we play a good role of that. So
Yeah.
a lot of our friends that have kids and stuff, I'm like, just bring them on over. Like they'll have fun over here. So it's
And then how do you guys build your relationship? Where did that start?
Which one of us is going?
you take it off.
So Ashley, my wife, and Madison, I think connected through Instagram or something like that, and set up a dinner for all of us to go out to Graham and Dunn. I think Dana and I both felt the same way.
So Madison doesn't have a great track record of setting up dinners with couples. Okay. Madison's like, hey, I know this girl online. Seems nice. We should go out to dinner. I did it a few times. Low success rate.
Yeah. Can we get name by name? Who are the people that you really disliked having dinner with?
Maybe I won't put him on the hot seat on the podcast today, but that was just never. I don't
Those
know,
relationships didn't last outside of that dinner.
Exactly. And it's difficult when you go out and you meet new people, and I'm not somebody that's like seeking a lot of new friends all the time. I feel like I have a lot of great friends around me, and the Madison was like, yeah, Ashley and I talk a lot online and set up this dinner at Graham and Dunn. I was like, hey, it'd been cool if you advised me on this, but we went and ended up just being one of those things that I was like, okay, I'm really glad that we took this. I think that might be her only win that she has.
Yeah, we're probably looking at the same track record, but yeah, I think we ended up at Puttery or whatever that is after dinner
Yeah.
till they closed, I think, and then now we're here.
Yeah. It was kind of one of those things like, you meet people that you're just on the same wavelength on a lot of different things of just how you operate in life. and goals, the way you treat other people. I don't know. I feel like that's a kind of a rare thing to find in people. And I feel like I've met certain people that I'm just like, you put good into the world, and those are kind of people I want to be around. And I give Brock a lot of credit, but Ashley too. Like, she's very much the same way, and just two good human beings that when we went out, I was like, I'm fine with hanging out with them anytime.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Ashley's always real excited too every time. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Now we work out every morning together.
yeah.
Well, I think that's a great segue.
Yeah.
Great segue. So right now, this is January 6th, first podcast of the new year. So then this is the time where everyone's new year, new me. Everyone's starting fresh. Feel like you hit the reset button. As you guys are looking into 2026, closing the chapter of 2025, what are some big things personally, professionally, or both that you have your mind on right now? What are the things you really are focused on going into 2026, personally, professionally, relationship, whatever it is that has a lot of your focus?
I think for me, I guess kind of the word of the year is consistency for me. Just being totally transparent. Nice. I feel like, I don't know, there are pros and cons of my personality, and maybe Dane's too. You guys, I'm sure, can relate to this, but I feel like when I find something I'm interested in, I'll dive in it like 150%. I mean, like 1,000%. I'll become obsessed with it, and to the point where I feel like I go so hard on it, I quickly burn myself out, and then I quit. And that doesn't benefit me. And so as opposed to doing that, I'd just like to, kind of have small wins each day in everything. Like, get home, put my phone away, be present with my kids and my wife, even if it's for, hey, we're going to start at 15 minutes today. Like, if you can get a 15-minute win and be present and turn work off and, be there for your family, or the gym. Like, hey, no matter what, I'm going to wake up at 4:30 and I'm going to get into the gym. If I am sore, then I'll stretch or I'll walk on the treadmill. Like, and so I just kind of want that consistency, stacking small daily wins in every aspect of my life, and instead of trying to like conquer the world and be number one in whatever it is I get interested in. And I think that'll probably pay off for me in a big way. So.
Ricky, what about you?
Yeah, big focus. We have a lot of momentum on the MMG sales side. So focused on executing what we need to do in that regard. But then also from a fitness standpoint, last year I did a high rocks. I don't have anything scheduled yet for this year. I'm excited to start training for some hypertrophy again, start putting some muscle back on, and building some strength again.
You might need to teach us about that.
Yeah. Take all your tips and tricks that you can have to offer. I like it. No, I think when it comes into 26, something I've actually focused on this year that Mass and I have both talked about was not the whole new year, new me thing. I think I've always got caught up in that, where it's you come out the gate and you try to change your life in a matter of one day. And I started back when we actually moved in to this house back in October, that I was going to start making daily changes to the way that I operated and things that I wanted to look different in my life. And being in the gym every morning, and to Brock's point, that consistency side of just not falling off, that I have a very addictive personality, that when I go into something, I go full speed into it. There's no holding back. And I feel like a lot of times that leads to burnout in those respected areas. And I even still think we're guilty of sometimes feeling a little overconfident in the gym in the morning and burning ourselves out in a week to where we're having to stretch for a few days. But the idea of putting things in place that are long-term ways of living, not just short-term ideas that we think are going to. That's what everyone, beginning of the year, of course, everyone posts their Instagram motivational posts. They start doing this or that, and it's all of a sudden we're doing the keto diet, we're doing 75 hard, we're getting a trainer, we're doing all these things. Like, just become somebody that works out. Become somebody that's just part of what you do. Become somebody that time blocks. Become somebody that just does these things. And Ed Milet's book, The Power of One More, he always talks about when it was his dad that was quitting.
He was an alcoholic.
Yeah, but he was, the way that he positioned it, he was like, I'm just not somebody that drinks. Yeah, I don't drink. Like, so the position, the way, the framework of how you build that in your mind is, I'm just somebody that works out in the morning. And it's like, there's so many people like, well, I'm not a morning person. And I think the selling of the excuse, people have become so strong at selling excuses to themselves, but then they become just I gotta wait till 2026. And then, I mean, they were telling themselves that back at fucking 4th of July. Mm-hmm. So then we start off, and you're going to see gyms full and everything until what, March, April?
Usually it's like 17 days.
I was going to say, it's like 13 to 17 days or something.
I was trying to give credit to some people, but let's say, we'll say the dogs, we'll just say the people that are really out getting it. Let's say March, like, okay, you made it 90 days. And then you give it up, and then you start thinking about 2027 in what, June, July, and then we'll get going then. And then you live in that same hamster wheel till when? Till you fucking die? Kind of wild to me. Like, there's no time horizon that's waiting for any of us. So might as well, anything you're going to start now.
Yeah. And anyone listening to this is going through the same stuff. It's not like that's anything that's isolated to people in the room, right? This is stuff that consistency, showing up, doing the small things every single day. Rick, you're really good about that. What do you think you do differently when it comes to being consistent that other people just don't do? What are things that have helped you build the consistency that you have?
He doesn't booze.
That's definitely part of it. Yeah, no booze. That definitely helps. It makes the mornings probably a little bit easier, I would imagine. I wouldn't know. I would think it gets easier that way. Actually, what Dane was kind of describing is what I would consider like an identity shift rather than tacking on like a New Year's resolution. So if you change the lens through which you see yourself, I think that's how you kind of make that lasting change. Like when I was first deciding to get into fitness, it was like 7th grade. And I saw myself as somebody that was good at sports and fit and athletic. So then working out was just kind of naturally part of what I did. Like instead of just sitting there and playing video games, I'd go outside and run and do push-ups and work out and stuff like that. And I think that's part of the reason why it's never been that difficult for me, at least on the fitness side of things. I've never really struggled to get into the gym. I think it's just because it's such a core part of my personality. And I've seen some of the benefits because I've had longevity and the consistency with it. I've seen some of the benefits that come from that, like your increased confidence. You just feel better. You can move better, all kinds of things. So having the consistency and being able to see what happens in the gym when you're consistent, then you can use that to apply to different aspects of your life. So then when it comes to being consistent in sales, you can say, oh yeah, well, this is what happens when I eat right all the time and I go to the gym. Then 6 months later, I'm in pretty damn good shape. Well, what happens if I make all my calls and do what I'm supposed to do? Well, in 6 months, we're going to be in pretty good shape. So you can start to take the lessons you learned from one thing and apply it to something else.
I think what's cool about that, I'm stealing this. I've heard it a couple times, but I mean, being in shape and being fit, I think, is especially good in the business or sales world because, the second that you see someone who looks like Ricky, you're like, that dude's disciplined. Like you literally, you can't fake fitness. You can't buy it. You can't go for 30 days as hard as you can and have it. You develop it over a long period of time. I mean, to your point, you know, he's obviously developed discipline. I would argue that it's probably going to be harder for him. Like if someone came to Ricky and said, hey, you have to take 2 weeks off. You can't work out for 2 weeks.
It's tough.
That would be hard for you.
It would be.
But I mean, you know, that fitness discipline has translated for you, I'm sure. I mean, I don't see it on a daily basis, but I would assume and bet on that, you know, you make all your calls when you're supposed to. When your calendar changes and it's time for the next time block, you do the time block. And so that's, you know, I think that's probably what Dane and I are kind of getting at is, you know, hey, let's not kill ourselves in a short period of time. And like Ricky said, kind of change that lifestyle, like change your identity. I am a person who works out daily. And so,
But what I'll piggyback off of that I feel like a lot of people run into is when you build an identity, you build it into one sector. That there's a lot of people that are super fit that everything else in their life is a fucking disaster.
There definitely is.
There's a lot
Plenty of those.
There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of people that are great at business and financially are really well off and are a disaster from a health standpoint, disaster from a husband standpoint or wife standpoint, disaster from a parent standpoint. So I think that's a lot of where Brock and I like end up in conversations is I think the word I hate the most in life is balance. Because there's chapters that you go through different areas that there was a point in my life that my identity was in fitness. Excuse me. When I was in college, I lived to work out. I had a six-pack. I was super strong. Like I was wildly disciplined to be into the gym twice a day. That's what I did. But like when I went and I met people, like I want to talk about working out. I want to talk about what they're eating. A lot of people didn't want to talk about that. Like,
relax,
believe
man.
it or not,
Yeah.
not a conversation everyone wants to have.
But then it's also like I've been on the complete opposite side where it's like I became so obsessed with business when we first started this that I read business books every single night, and then I would be around people. All I wanted to talk about was business, and people were like, "Don't want to talk about that right now." And I remember when I started MMG, Boyan, we're at the lake, and I'm like going on and on about like I read this, and he's like, "Dude, we're at the lake, fucking chill, bro." And I'm like, "No, dude," like, and it's. But once again, figuring out like, I'm not trying to figure out a work-life balance. I'm trying to figure out what balance looks like as a person to be somebody that can be in a room with a lot of different types of people that can communicate with the business person, with the fitness person, with the person on a father forefront, with the person on a husband forefront, whatever that may be, that I end up actually with a lot more conversations about relationships now than ever before. If you would have told me at fucking 18 years old, I would be having conversations about relationships, you'd be like, yeah, you lost your marbles, buddy. But now it's came to a point that 13 years together, Madison and I, like our relationship, there's a lot of people who look to that as a value point that we have to offer. And that's a lot of identity for me. Like I'm really proud of who that person is that I've became. Am I the person I've became from a physical forefront in the gym? Absolutely not. I have failed myself in that area. One of the things I'm most jealous of Ricky all the time is the fact that he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
Like I wish I would have set that standard so far back in my life that it never would have even been a thing.
So at the same time though, there's pros and cons. Not to be the pro drinking, but there's plenty of like you're talking about having things to talk about, like not drinking whiskey. Like that's a really easy thing, especially in the business world, that you can just talk about and connect over.
It is, but it's like, and once again, I mean, you look at it, that you look at the plus side, you look at the downside, that there's a lot of relationships I've made off of drinking bourbon with guys.
A lot of really good connections.
Good. I mean, yeah. Solid relationships.
Like
yeah.
solid relationships, and it's like, but I've listened to podcasts that people are like, yeah, you're going to say that, but then it's, what are you doing with that time? Something else that you're going to end up meeting people also. So it's like, you can parlay that into anything that we do. So
I was going to say that as you say that, what I'm thinking about in my version of that is
try not
it's
to.
my time,
Yeah,
Dane.
I was just coughing so people
Wait.
couldn't hear you.
Guy tries to jump in here for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But my version of that would be golf, especially like working at a fraternity headquarters for 4.5 years and then being in business and sales and all the other things I've been involved with, the amount of times where people are like, hey, yeah, we're going golfing, like, come with us. And I'm like, there's that ego piece of me to where, like, I've just always been in so many different athletic things to where the idea of me going out golfing with guys and just constantly going through the woods trying to find a ball, like, that little piece of ego of mine, I'm like, I can't do it. I'd rather just say no and be like, you don't want me to come with you, than to be that guy. But because of that, it's like, oh yeah, that's nice. Like, you don't go and spend a bunch of money on golf and then have an entire Saturday gone, an entire Sunday gone. I'm like, right. But at the same time, a lot of relationships not developed, a lot of opportunities.
The amount of
missed.
money that MMG makes from golf, from what I have spent on golf, I promise you that it is definitely well in the positive side. Very well on the positive side.
Which is why we got the golf sim, because Rick and I need to work on the game.
We do.
And for those of you who have been in the office recently and seen my production, we've got a long ways to go.
Need some help. Need some help.
Got a long ways to go.
So
But give me a baseball bat, will be good.
If you own a business and you happen to be a golf instructor also, and you want a meeting with Alex, please come to the office.
Please. please.
I look
please.
straight at the camera for that one too. So you got right there.
All help wanted.
What's our next question?
Next question here. It kind of rolls off of that one a little bit.
Hopefully you only have 2 questions because we took 45 minutes on the first question.
I accounted for that. None of these are yes, no questions. I can promise you that. So talking about beliefs, right? So we talked about some of the beliefs that we agree with and disagree with, right? Like you mentioned balance, and that's something you disagree with. Are there ever times where you...
I do want to back up on that just a little bit before you finish that. I disagree with balance in an overall lifetime of a work-life balance. I do believe balancing is the type of person that you are. There is a point for that.
There are seasons.
Yes.
Right.
It is became a buzzword that everyone's a work-life balance. Every 20-year-old out there is like, I'm searching for work-life balance.
I want to know where that came from.
That's what I'm saying. It's became
It couldn't have been someone who
I think
built a gigantic company. There's no way.
No, they listen to somebody that's out online that hasn't actually done something, that's renting a car for the weekend, and they put it on TikTok, and they're like, you need work-life balance. That's what the world deserves, blah, blah, blah. And then that's what I disagree with, is the buzz that it's turned into. I will say becoming a balanced human of who you are, I agree with that. Just the work-life balance, there's chapters to the life that you want to build. There's going to be chapters that work holds a higher level, and there's going to be chapters that life can hold a higher level, that you're going to, front half of your life, you're going to put a lot into building the life that you want. Toward the back half, you can change that around and the balance flips the other way. So just to clarify.
But going really into those belief systems, there are times, just like you said with the gym, but trying to move away from fitness as a whole, to where we'll talk about something in public, we'll share a belief that we have in public, but then in private, we struggle with maintaining that actual belief that we have. A good example is, hey, it's important to be consistent. We talk about it in marketing, consistency, right? It's not just making one great video, one great ad, right? It's the consistency of showing up online all the time. What are some beliefs or a belief that you have promoted publicly and you know is important, but then you yourself struggle with it?
Let's see here.
Who's going first on this one?
I will say,
Those are
like,
good questions.
Those were good.
I will say when we talk on, because we speak on consistency as much as we do, I don't know if that's a fight that you ever stop fighting. Because there's so many people that they're like, you're so consistent in the gym. And I'm like, not as consistent as Ricky. I'm like, but there's levels to it that it's just like, I may be more consistent than someone else. But it's also like, has our consistency been great on the podcast lately? No. Like, this was the first year that I told Madison, like, our holidays, like, I wanted to enjoy them. Like, I speak very heavily on consistency from a marketing standpoint. It needs to be there. What you're doing and your daily habits need to be there. But it's something I fight with a lot. Once again, that dieting and things like that, if you correlate to that forefront, it's like I can be doing really well. But then if there's a day that I just get absolutely obliterated at work and it's just been a day from fucking hell when I get home, like the last thing I'm thinking about is eating healthy at that point. Like, and it's, once again, it's just those things that what is taking priority at that point. It's really easy to be motivated in the morning. It's really easy to have all things dialed in. But, I mean, you go take on the fight, and I think that's a lot of people, too, don't understand what that fight looks like all the time. People are like, oh, yeah, really, that was hard. Like, I will go out and work outside all day long and get done at the end of the day and be excited for whatever, and it doesn't take any energy out of me. If I go in and I'm on the phone with banks and I'm working on all these other things, I'm working on equity calls, I'm working on all this different stuff that I'm working on, going over payroll with my brother, going over like all this stuff. By the time I get done, I'm just like,
mental exhaustion is just as powerful as the physical exhaustion. Yeah.
like yesterday, there was zero chance that we would have podcasted yesterday. Even if we had it on the books yesterday, the day I had yesterday, if we would have gotten done when I came home, I ended up taking two 45-minute phone calls last night, and Madison was like, I can tell you're done. And it was just it was one of those days, and it wasn't like in any way, shape, or form like a negative. I never position it as a negative, but there's some things that just wear me out a lot more than others. So
the question was, what have you basically claimed to be consistent at in public?
A belief that you have promoted publicly, a belief that you speak on publicly or in groups, but then privately you think to yourself, I talk about this, but I do struggle with it in these seasons, or I do struggle with it at times. What is something like that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably more of a private person than you guys are. I'm not very good at being consistent about posting on social media, even though I believe it would greatly benefit me. But I mean, just talking with my teammates, you know, me and another guy on the team are two of the agents who have been there the longest and have decent production, I would think, and trying to set an example maybe for newer agents or agents who are mentoring and saying, hey, you know, here's my numbers. Here's how many calls I have to make in order to set an appointment. Here's how many appointments I have to go on in order to put a house under contract. Here's how that translates to closings. You know, I know all those numbers, and we preach it to other agents on the team and try and set a good example. But I mean, gosh, the amount of times that I don't hit my contact number for the week, or I don't hit my appointments for the week, or don't add the certain amount of clients to my pipeline that I need to add to the week in order to hit my goals. And I know these numbers. I mean, it's simple, but it's not easy. And then you just become an excuse factory, you know? And so, I mean, I'll be the first to admit, yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect. But I would say, yeah, for me, it's just gotta be those, I'm missing the word, but kind of those like milestone numbers, you know, you have to hit in order to hit your goal, which involves consistency again. I mean, we're going to keep coming back to that. I have a feeling tonight, but I'd say it's that for me. Just, you know, being disciplined, coming in at the same time every day, doing the things that I know that I need to do in order to be successful and in order to benefit my clients. You know, I struggle and fluctuate in that for sure.
Do you think that that's something that would surprise people who know you?
I don't know. You know, it's funny. You asked a question, and the first thing that came to my mind is, I don't know what people's perception is of me. Mm-hmm. Like, I just have no idea. Maybe I have got feedback on it and I've just blocked it out because maybe it was positive and I just sat there and, you know, didn't want to believe it. I don't know. I don't know for sure. Maybe. I wish I knew.
Yeah. And I mean, we were talking about this today, even with our sales team, and going over it. It's wild how much harder consistency and discipline becomes when comfort sets in.
Yeah.
And when the days that you have to show up and you have to do it, those are the easiest days to do it. Once that comfort sets in, like, I mean, it's the same thing that I sell myself excuses on why I don't know if it's I don't want to or if it's just I don't need to, whatever that excuse is that I'm pitching myself. Like when I ran a half marathon pretty much off the couch, like MMG was in a fucking terrible spot. And a few weeks of training for that was just something that it pushed me so hard that it felt like something that was pushing me beyond the comfort or the discomfort that I was experiencing work-wise. And I remember that when I was out running, that I'm not a fucking runner. Anybody that's watching this can clearly see that 280 pounds, I'm not a Olympian runner.
And they can hear it based on that cough too.
Yeah. That actually has nothing to do with any of this. I'm sick. Trying to kill it with bourbon. But no, I remember running and like 3 miles in, I felt fine. 5 miles in, I started getting really tired. 7 miles, I'm like,
We done yet?
Well, I'm listening to a David Goggins book and I'm out there. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I was like, I got the house, I got the cars, I got the wife, I got the business, I got the American dream. I'm like, I built it like right in front of you. Like, I'm like, this is exactly what I fucking built. I'm like, why am I out here trying to kill myself fucking running? And it's the same thing when we're both reading The Comfort Crisis. Mm-hmm. Like doing those things that push you so far outside of that comfort state. And when you talk about doing the calls, you talk about doing all those things. It was sometimes you just need like a wake up call to push yourself to know that you can go way beyond whatever level you think is possible. And I think that's a big problem that we have in our modern day society with younger generations. They're never pushed hard.
Well, there's like survival versus abundance, right? To where when you're in a survival state, the idea to scratch, claw, work, do everything you have to do, you're in a survival state. So to you, like that is going to happen. I'm going to do everything I can. And then once you get to a space of comfort, do you still have that desire? Do you still have it within you to have that tenacity to scratch, claw, fight, to now go for abundance when you could just coast at comfort? And that's the conversation we had with sales this morning is when you personally get to that point of comfort, are you going to have that same tenacity that you do in a survival state? And a lot of people are not going to have that. That's why I've always been obsessed with Kobe Bryant. Just his entire career. It wasn't even just the way he played. It was the mindset he had of he was a Hall of Famer. He was an all-star. He was winning NBA championships. And even then, he had more tenacity, more fight, more grit than guys who are just barely getting into the league, hoping to stay on a roster. That was his mindset all the time was, I don't care who it is. Like, I'm going to outwork you all at all times. I'm going to make it well known.
And I think that's a comparison issue that we deal with is most people compare themselves to someone else, and you can go in a room and say, hey, okay, I outwork these 10 people and I do better. Okay, I've made it to the top. Mm-hmm. But people avoid the rooms that they go into that they're the bottom player in the room. And it's like I love those rooms. Those are the rooms I've worked the hardest to try to put myself into. So I go into rooms and I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. Yeah,
I love going into a room being like, tell me that like I'm stupid because I have no idea what you just said.
Hold on, let me get my notepad out. Yeah. I want to piggyback off of what you just said, not to interrupt you or to hijack Ricky's turn, but you mentioned comparisons, I think, and one of the reasons I feel like we're all kind of being pretty transparent here today and being vulnerable about our weaknesses and whatnot. And 2025, I feel like I was always, for the first time, like searching forever I'd always listened or read books about people who have literally just been at the top since I've been alive. And I'm like, God, dude, I'm a loser. Like I can't, like, I'm never going to get there. Like, how do you get there? All these, this advice that they're giving me, it's unrelatable. Like how they live their life on a daily basis is unrelatable. And I started finding snippets of, people who were giving advice based off of, their past experiences related to like the position I'm in. And it kind of became more relatable. So I hope, whoever's listening to this, I hope that, it was almost like depressing or created anxiety for me. Cause it was just like, man, why am I not doing like these guys never struggled. I'm struggling my ass off right now. Like this shit is hard. It's hard. And so hearing from other people who I look up to and admire that it was hard and they did struggle and it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows and they weren't always the number one seller or whatever. That actually was like more motivating and reassuring for me, to kind of like set my sights on 2026 and be like, okay, dude, you know what? You're good. Like just get in there and do what you're supposed to do on a daily basis. And then the rest will take care of itself. So hopefully whoever is listening to this will, if they're in that position, they'll say, oh, okay, I'm not fucked up, like I can pull this off.
But
so.
the comparison game never stops. No. Like it's wild that like I'm 31 years old and I feel like I'm behind.
Oh yeah.
Like I truly like get up in the morning and I'm around other people and I go into a room and I'm like, what have I done not to get myself there?
Yeah.
And I did it at 25. I've done it at 30. I'll do it at 40. Like, I hope I don't do it at 40, but it's like, it's something that, it's something that you look at and I think we live in a world now too, that people are like, well, I don't compare myself to anybody. Like, yeah, keep saying that because that's what the internet, like you feel that makes you feel big on the internet. Like I'll be 100%. I'm around people and I'm like, not in like I've never compared myself of like not wanting someone else to be successful, but I look at how they've played their cards to get to where they're at. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm like, have I not played my cards right? Like, how could I have played my cards differently? To where it's just like you start running all these different scenarios in your head. And I think to that point, a lot of times I think about these ideas that I will like compress because I don't think it's a good idea. I don't press it to the team. I don't execute it. And then I'm like, in a comparison deal, I'm like, well, maybe this person would have done this. But there's a value to the way that every single one of us thinks. There's a value that leads every single one of us to where we go. And I think the thing that lives like rent free in my head over and over and over that drives me more than anything was the fact that Walt Disney ran his own path. Like it's the one thing that like I'll see something that's so clear in my head. Like today I had paper out drawing what these content plans were supposed to look like to Alex. And he's like working on trying to build them out like right there. And I'm like, I know exactly what it's supposed to fucking look like. And it's like, it's so clear. And I can see the content guys out on a content shoot doing this whole entire thing. And it's like, I saw online one day I was buying other marketing companies' content templates. I spent fucking $150 buying other fucking templates, looking at things, and I'm like, not what it's supposed to look like, not what it's supposed to look like, not what it's supposed to look like. But that comparison world that you can get caught up in, no matter what level you are at, there's going to be someone else. There's going to be someone else that has a nicer car, that has a nicer fucking boat, that has a nicer jet, has a nicer house. Like, but I also look at so many people that stand in the spot that a lot of days where I check myself is when I drive in, I'm like, I dreamed of all of this right here at one point.
You've already achieved the goals that you said you wanted to achieve.
And I think that's just kind of what
Alex
you
and
have to, yeah, that's what you have to remind yourself of though, because at some point you had that vision and you didn't know how you were going to make it possible. And then it happened. And if you can look back and remind yourselves of all the times that that's happened, I think you start to have more faith in your own abilities, your team abilities, whatever it is, that you are going to be able to actualize those goals. And then I think that kind of takes away, at least for me, it has in these last 6 months or so has taken away some of that comparison, because I know that like if I see it in my head, I know we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
And I don't have a doubt in that.
I think there's a healthy level of it. I think
If you didn't compare yourself a little bit, like you wouldn't know
Yeah.
what's possible. You wouldn't know
exactly.
that you
But-
can stretch.
But you
I
can-
think
you can
I
use it
think
as
to
an
that point
inspiration.
too, though, is where I think a lot of people correlate the two to happiness. That they think that there's a car that's going to bring them happiness, there's a house that's going to bring them happiness, that the Knicks promotion is going to bring them happiness, that you see it in relationships. People always chase the next thing in relationships to make them happy, and it's like somewhat like I've had so many people always ask me about like this question in particular, like what's the next level, and I'm like, I've came to a spot that I don't know what that looks like. And I'm okay with that, but it's the one thing I'm most confident about on all of it was there was a day that Madison and I rode on a scooter with no money that we were really fucking happy.
Oh yeah.
I was happy with my brother. I was happy with everyone else. So all this is just a fucking cherry on top.
Ashley and I used to sit on the back porch of my like 800 square foot East Campus house at Mizzou that had mice and raccoons, and we'd sit back there with just our iPhone playing music and Bud Heavy and a cigar, and it was like some of the best times of my life.
And that's the thing too, though, as you talk about, just like you just said, right? Is that you have the things now that you dreamed about, right? Like, I'm not married, like I don't have kids, and like those are things like I've always wanted those things.
This is the non-child row.
This is the child row. We planned this ahead of time.
Yep.
But it's like then you kind of get to that point of like after a while, you stop remembering the fact of like this is a dream that I once had that other people wish they had. You know, and then you get comfortable in those things, and it's like Gary Vee talks about all the time is like just having the ability to sit back and be like, wow, I'm just really grateful that I'm in the spot that I'm in, because there was a time where it's like this is all I ever wanted, and now to you it's just kind of like another fucking Tuesday.
Of course it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I'm here.
Which
Why wouldn't it be? Duh.
which it's crazy because I have so many people ask me why I don't walk down from the house down here to work out, why I drive.
I thought that literally like 2 days ago. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like it's
I
like
think it every
50
day.
feet.
So it's actually that time when I get in the car in the morning to drive down here is like something I've always had for the gym that was like way bigger than working out or everything else, was when I drove to the gym in the morning was like the time that I just thought about like everything I was grateful for every day. And it's like I still have that same time when I drive down here.
It must be a really short list of things you're grateful for, because for those listening that don't know the layout, it's about 50 feet walking, 200 feet driving.
But it's like
He listens to the intro to a song and then he's here.
it's 3.5 acres, dude. I gotta drive around.
Oh, hey,
the
hey, hold
driveway
on.
is really long.
But it's just like when I get up in the morning and I make my pre-workout, I go get in the car, start my car, I sit there normally for like a minute or two, and then I pull out and I'm like really sitting there, I'm just looking at our house, and I think about Madison, I think about my brother, I think about everybody at MMG, I think about all those things that I'm like, no matter what fight I have to take on today, like I'm ready for it. And then I get to come down here, I get to take on that hard, I get to work out, I get to do that. Afterwards, I drive back up. Most of the time I'm up at the house making breakfast for Madison when she gets back from Pure Bar before most people even fucking wake up. To where it's like, I've got to already think about the things that I'm grateful for during the day. And it's just like, that means so much to me that it's always been something that like kind of kept me away from a home gym. Was like, I tell people, I'm like, the best part about me going to the gym is driving to the gym. And it's like, I don't know how to even explain it, but it's just always been like my time. In college, it was the same thing. Like I would have finals stacked up, I'd have everything, and I'd just like get in the truck. And when I drive to the gym, it was like the whole world just became sound. And I was like, none of this stuff like really matters that much.
And then you get to the office and your piece is completely ruined because I started talking about scalability and efficiency, and you're like, that sucks. I don't want to talk about that.
No, I'm ready to go when I get to the office. Like, but it's just putting me in that, like, I don't know. I always feel like you get put in the state of where you need to be. And like I said, us podcasting today, way different version of me today than you would have gotten last night.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy when you think about that there's just different versions of you that live out there all the time. That last night I was fucking aggravated. Like, I wasn't like angry. It was just like,
Irritable.
yeah, like, I mean, I was out of gas. And today when I was coming home, like, I was fucking excited. Like, I'm jamming, sitting in like dead still traffic, like not even pissed about being in traffic. I'm like excited to go home. And I'm like trying to make a bourbon deal to have more bourbon while we're down here. Like, but I don't know. It's just like my experience of it all.
Yeah, like I think you have different energy levels, and most people think when they think of energy, they think like, oh, do I have the energy to go do something? Like, can I get up and go do this thing, or am I gonna literally fall asleep? But I also think you have like a different frequency level that you kind of operate at and that you see the world through, and that a lot of things change that. A lot of things will take a hit on your energy and kind of drain you. And I think having a practice like that, where you're starting the day, especially if it's that early, with gratitude is probably one of the best things you can do for your frequency. Because having gratitude for where you're at or for where you want to be as if you're already there kind of sets a different signal that goes out, and you just have a different energy that you carry throughout the day. You're making different decisions. You're communicating with people differently. People receive that communication differently. If you can start the day with gratitude, that makes a big difference in your life.
It's funny, when I became friends with Boy on one of his, he's like, my favorite thing about you is, he goes, no matter how bad my day is, no matter what time it is, no matter what, he goes, I know I give you a call and you're gonna be fucking chipper as hell. You're gonna tell me all the great things I have going on in my life. I'm like, dude, you got everything fucking made. He goes, yeah, there's points in my day I don't think that.
Yeah.
But no, I think gratitude is something that if more people can practice that. It's I just think about it all the time. I think about it right now. I think about like how cool it is that we're sitting in a building down the hill from the house and with doing this, and this being something that somehow correlates into a fucking job. Wild.
I'm glad that you said the word practice, because it's us actually doing the thing that we're talking about. It's putting in the action. And I had kind of just a personal idea on the drive up here. I was like, I want to get their feedback on it. So for me personally, one of the things that I have a hard time practicing is the ask for help. Like, I personally love when people ask me for help. Like, that is one of the things that I thrive in. And that's what, in my role at MMG, I love being that person. Like, even I was texting Dane last night and I was saying how I act annoyed when he's like, there's going to be a really annoying project coming up and it's going to be a lot of work and we're going to put it on Alex's plate. And I pretend to be annoyed, but I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I want to be the person that does that. Anytime someone asks for help, friends, family, whatever it is, I love being that person. I, on the other hand, have the inability to ask for help. I think there's a lot of, just like how you grow up and just like how you learn about life that shapes that. But I personally, the idea of asking people for help is something I extremely struggle with. So I just kind of want to get your guys' perspective, especially talking about genuine conversation here about consistency and gratitude and all the things that we want to be better at. Me personally, that's something I want to be better at. So is that something that any of you guys struggle with, or something that you've learned along the way in your personal or professional relationships about how you frame asking for help, asking for support?
I actually think that people that I have around me, I used to say it, and I grew up in a household that like I wasn't told good job and things of that nature. So it's like I never really asked for help. And as I've progressed, I think one of the things that people get shut down with a lot of times, and it's like it even happens within our walls, that I have people come my way for a conversation. And my dad used to tell me how bad I was at this, and now I understand why. But it's my dad being in his office, and I thought just because somebody wasn't in his office that he wasn't busy.
That's what it means. If there's no one sitting in front of you and you're not on a call, that means that you are just sitting there waiting for someone to walk in. You're not actually doing it.
And my dad was always like so respectful in the fact that when I come in, I'm like, you got a minute? He's like, yeah. And I'd go in there and I'd like start pitching something, and he would just, you could see the frustration, you could see the turn. And I never understood. I thought it was because I had a bad idea. I thought because of what I was pitching out there wasn't right. And I understand now that it was very much, I was just in the wrong time. That if I would have said like, hey, I really have an idea that I think can change this. Let's go out to dinner, or let's go sit down and have drinks after work, or go. If you're going to get me an outlaw and we're smoking cigars, we can have a conversation that's 1,000 times more productive. If it's outside the work environment. And I want to give that help to everyone. Because, I mean, Saturday night we went out to dinner. Was that Saturday? Friday. I don't know. I lose track. Friday.
Yeah. Don't let the details ruin the story.
Yeah. But Friday we go out to dinner, and we sat downstairs at the poker table, which the poker table has not been sat at since we bought it. And we sat down there, and I was like dead set on like ordering Jimmy John's or something. We had dinner reservations because our conversation was just so great at that point on what we were talking about. It was so in depth on things that I came up and I told Master, she's like, must have been a good conversation. I was like, it really was. Yeah. I was like, there should have been a camera on us.
Oh, dude.
But it was just, that you look at that you have to find those people to have those conversations with. And I think the timing is always so important to those things, that if we're hanging out at the house and Ricky's like, hey, let's go down and talk. Like, I feel like there's a lot of times that on weekends and stuff that Ricky's been in Clay Center, things like that, I get text that like I'm literally sitting there, I'm like tearing up, like about how cool it is to see where Lauren and Ricky have positioned themselves in life, and how cool that I even get to play a piece in that whole thing. And it's like ultimately they're in the driver's seat of where they're going, but that I even get to experience and see it is cool. But I think asking for help is a huge thing. I think understanding when to ask for it. I think there's so many people that are like, okay, I need help in this respected area. I'm going to, in the middle of the day, while we got 5,000 things going on, let's sit down and talk about it.
Stop what you're doing. Give me an hour and a half of your time to talk about this thing that's on the top of my mind right now.
If I have a meeting in 15 minutes with a client that's coming in, I'm already like, my mind's already positioning myself into that meeting on what I need to be thinking about. So I'm not, and it's not fair to the person that I'm meeting with.
Yeah. I'll have people come in and ask that question. I'm like, I have a meeting in 6 minutes. And to them, that means
we got 6 minutes.
That means I get you for the next 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah,
all right, sure.
So I think that, and also like I'll say to Brock and I working out in the morning, like I want more people working out here at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like I truly do. Like Darby comes a lot in the morning. Dre's started coming. Like
give me a little bit. Give me a little bit. We'll be up here.
But it's like, I mean, there's been mornings that we've came up and we've stretched, never turned on the music, and just talked for an hour.
Those are my favorite days.
And it's like, I literally get done. I was like, I needed that this morning. Mm-hmm. That like, I can just word vomit everything that's going on. Same with him. And then all of a sudden we're both just like, I don't even need feedback half time. I just need to tell somebody.
Yeah. Right.
So I do think that there's having the right people around that you can talk to and that will listen and that also want you to win. So,
I'm completely torn down the middle on asking for help, and I think it completely depends on the context. At our team, we literally have T-shirts that say "FitFo" on them. Figure it the fuck out. And so there's kind of this, which in my opinion is a positive culture of, hey, be a problem solver. You know, like I think that your value in the market, in other words, how much money you make, is directly correlated to how many problems can you solve on your own and how big are those problems. So the bigger problems you solve, the more money you make. You get where that's going. And so I think from a very young age, I've kind of had that fit-fo mindset, which is, in my opinion, mainly healthy, but also can be unhealthy in regards to your disposition on it. And I also struggle with it too. Like, hey, there are going to be situations where I don't have the resources to figure it out. Like it's not something that I can chat GPT. Like I want to talk to someone who has been in my shoes and been through this thing, which is usually like, if it's a real estate related thing, Eric and Andrea, or people who are, have more experience in business than me, like Dane, like, and learning that it's okay to be vulnerable and ask for help. And, you just get this feeling. I also think it's kind of just like America's culture as a man, like a white male. Hey, you've got it made, dude. Like you kind of just got to figure this thing out, like you have everything at your disposal. But you have to ask for help. Like sometimes you do need help. And I think that I definitely struggle with that. I mean, dude, I remember Eric, like the first week I started, he was like, hey, first time, like if you need something, just go fuck up. Like fuck something up and then I'll pay for it. And then after that, like, then you can ask me, like, and it's like, basically what he's telling me is like, dude, just go learn, like, it's okay. It's okay to mess up. And he used to say fail forward. And now we say FITFO, but I think on some bigger, important, maybe even like personal things, like, hey, what did you do when your baby was crying all night? Like, how did you get him or her to go back to bed? Like, it's okay to ask for help, or, if you're stuck in a tough business situation that not everybody can relate to, or the internet doesn't know the exact nuances of what's going on. Like, you kind of have to put down that, like man card, I guess.
Put down the ego a little bit.
Put down the ego. There
And
you
that's
go. Ego.
I used to always think it was like very much off that point. I thought it was a masculinity thing, that it was like, I can't put this down. I can't ask for money. I can't.
Yeah.
And when I say money, it was like equity calls, things like that. It was just like I was,
anything related to finances.
Yeah, it was always like I felt like that was a sense of failure, and
100%.
I've ended up around a lot of people that they're like, no, people are gifted in certain aspects of business, and like the greatest business owners out there understand where their strengths are in business. They figure out how to leverage the other points through other people that come in as investors, other people within the walls. And I think it's one of the most valuable things I've ever figured out in business. That I was talking to an individual a month ago, and he said, at 31 years old, what you figured out takes most people by the age of 50 to figure out. Mm-hmm. And he goes, that you can't be the greatest at all things. Yeah. And he goes, that you figure that one thing out. And he goes, if you figured out how to trust a leadership group around you. Because he was asking me what my day looked like, and he was asking me the questions I asked the leadership team all the time. And I started going through, and I was like, some days, like if I don't have appointments, like I feel like I don't have a job. Yep. And then he goes, this is what your job now looks like. And he starts outlining this whole new realm of what my life looks like and what I need to be focused on, what I need to be working on to elevate the company to a whole nother level. But it was like, I had to ask for that, because I told him, I go, to be fair, I feel lost. Yeah. I feel like I've always had this like really high sense of purpose, that it's weird when you're like counted on so much. Like the company always counted on me. Like I showed up like I was the knight in shining armor that would show up and make it all happen. And then now all of a sudden I built this leadership side that like, they're the knights in shining armor that show up and make it all happen. And then I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay. I left for 2 weeks and nobody noticed I was gone.
You're like happy that it didn't burn down, but
Yeah.
a fire would have been nice.
Yeah. I'm like,
I'd like to at least get a call or two
Yeah.
of like what to do.
I'm like, nobody even called me. Like 4 or 5 days in Spain, I literally was like calling AT&T seeing if my phone was working. I'm like, you got my phone number working?
It can't be running that smooth without me,
Yeah.
right?
I'm
Oh
like,
my
this is
God.
wild. I'm like, I talked to my dad every day, and my dad hadn't called me for like 4 or 5 days too. So I was like, okay,
James
something's
sitting there
got to
watching
be wrong.
cameras.
Right. He's got the
What's
Ring
going on
doorbell
there?
pulled
Are
up.
people there?
Yeah. So, but it's a weird space to like navigate into. And I feel like when you end up in that space, people go one of two directions. They say like, okay, I'm going to take it all back onto my shoulders, that I want to be back to being the knight in shining armor. Like I got to be QB1 that fucking throws the winning pass to win the Super Bowl. But it's like, no, you're in the coach's position now. You're in the GM's box now. Like you don't get to throw that pass. Like someone else now gets the recognition and they get to go hold that trophy up at the end. Like you're not the person anymore. Like you were at one point.
Yeah.
You hung it up and now it's like you sit in a different seat. Now it's like I sit there and I get to watch a whole different group of people now go out and throw the winning fucking touchdown passes over and over and make it all happen and make clients on cloud nine. And the now when clients come to me, they're raving about the people that are there. And I'm like, that was once me. I was like, not anymore. So like it is, but it's a weird space to navigate. It's I think to that identity that we spoke about at the very beginning, like it's an identity crisis that you're like, where do I fit into this?
It's uncomfortable.
It is. And it's I don't know, but it's asking for help from people that like, okay, when you started experiencing this, what did you do? That I've asked people that exact question, that like, you navigate into these waters, what does life look like? How do you manage your time? Like, there's nothing more than I hate than just sitting at my desk just to sit at my desk. And it's like the car business built this like guiltiness in my head that like if I wasn't sitting at my desk, then I wasn't at work.
Well, if you weren't there, then if a lockup comes in, then you're not going
Yeah.
to be able to sell a car.
I want to hear your answer to this.
To what question are we on now? The question
You
of
struggle
I do have
like
to be
asking for help.
Struggling with asking for help, or what have you learned about asking
Yep.
for help that you've gotten?
Yeah, I feel like I still struggle asking for help for sure. I think maybe I've gotten a little bit better at it recently. But I think part of it is like trying to let that ego go a little bit and like not feeling like you need to be the person that has the right answer all the time.
Yep.
Going through like school and stuff like that, school came really easily to me. So I kind of felt like I was the person that had the answer all the time. Like I would stop raising my hand because I was the only person that knew the answer. And that kind of stayed with me for a long time, where I felt like even though I didn't really have any mentors to look up to from a business standpoint growing up, like I felt like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to figure it out. Like I figured everything else out.
Yep.
And I think that works to a point, but it brings a lot more pain with it potentially from having to learn on your own. And you could make progress so much faster if you do ask somebody for help. And I think having the realization that a lot of people struggle with the same kind of things that you do.
Yeah.
Like you're not the only one that has those problems. Like problems a lot of those are pretty universal. So people are going to have their own take and experience on it. So a lot of times it is going to be helpful if you ask somebody.
Yep. I couldn't agree anymore. I think the time thing is a huge point. Like I'm sure all of us catch ourselves like battling in our own heads of like how am I going to figure this out? Like Alex said, I think a lot of people are just, they're proud to be asked questions, especially by, I mean, I would argue that, we're all guys who are going to try to figure it out first, right? Like, I mean, we're
Right,
going to make an
right.
effort. It's not just like, oh, I could Google this, but I'm going to be lazy and go ask Dane, well, how do I don't even know.
You know what
Anything
this
about
correlate?
marketing, but it'd be-
Finish this thought, but I have a good piggyback off of this.
But you're saying is like
It'd be like, how
All
do I
of it-
enter this into Excel? Like, well, dude, YouTube it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
take
Like,
some initiative, be proactive.
yeah. Yeah.
So I used to, every time I go into any store and I need to find something, people are like, can I help you? I'm like, no, I got it. And I just fucking wander my ass around. I walk into Home Depot now and they're like, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, where would I find this? And they're like, right, lane 12, fucking halfway down. I'm like, oh, cool.
And they
I'm like,
always know.
yeah.
They know the top of their head.
Not at
Yeah.
Walmart though. Sorry,
It's-
Walmart.
Yeah,
I don't go to
but let's be
Walmart.
honest. Yeah, Walmart. They're like, I don't know, man. I know where the bathroom's at.
We're not going
But-
to be getting any sponsored deals.
Yeah.
No.
We're really holding out for
Wah, wah,
LaCroix.
wah.
We're holding out for LaCroix.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just crazy that like the evolution of that Madison forever, she's like, you'll never ask when we go in somewhere like where stuff is. And I was like, it was an ego trip thing. I'm like, I can figure out where it's at.
Yeah.
And now I literally walk in, they're like, what are you looking for? I'm like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Where am I going to find it?
Yeah.
They're like, "Go right over
Can you
there."
save me 45 minutes real quick? That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Here's
Yeah.
my credit card. Would you mind just go getting it?
Yeah.
And I'll still catch myself. Sometimes I go in and I'm like, oh, that person's kind of busy. I'm like, I'll go find it. And then I'm just like wandering around, I can't find it. And then I'm like on my phone trying to see if they'll show me which aisle it's in online. And then I'm like trying to find somebody that works there. And I'm like, that ended up being a huge nightmare. But it goes that way in life on everything. Like, there are so many people that I have been blessed with being around. They're so far ahead of myself in business that when I talk to them, and something that may be a huge issue to me, that is like monumental, like it's about to burn my world down. I'm losing sleep over everything. These people can fix and like, yeah.
You know, it's funny. I'm gonna tie this whole entire concept into business, but like marketing, for example, say Ricky calls a business who is struggling to get more clients, and he says, "Hey, you know, how can I help? How can I help you? Like, how can I help you grow? What do you guys need that you don't already have? Here's, you know, what I would suggest or whatever." But that client's immediate reaction is going to be, "No, you know, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to ball up. I'm good. Like, I can figure this out." But it would be so beneficial for them. It would save them time. It would probably save them money because they'd make a shit ton more of it. And it would save them headache, confusion, stress. Like, allow the people who are experts in marketing to help you market. And then you don't even have to think about marketing. Like, you can go do all the other things and run your business, and boom, you make more money. And for me, you know, people will literally like register on our website and like put all their information in. They're looking at houses. They say they're interested in buying a home, whatever. And you call them, you say, "Hey, you know, I'm Brock Nemeth. I work with the Air Credit Real Estate team. I saw you register on our website. I'd love to help you out with your home search. You know, where are you guys at? How can I help you?" "Oh, no, I'm just looking. I'm just looking." And then those people,
Cars, same shit. Anybody that pulls on a lot, what are you doing? I'm just looking.
What are you looking for?
why are you like, you're here to buy a car, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're at a car lot.
We didn't drag you
Yeah.
here. You
all I have for sale is fucking cars. Okay, so but that was like the art of sales is trying to figure out how to get that person to open up.
Yep.
Because you know that they're looking for a car. People aren't driving through a car lot. Once again, where we were at, we were right by Burger King, so old people get ice cream and they would drive through. If you saw an old person with ice cream, they were just browsing.
They're not
They
buying.
actually are just.
they do
looking.
not
They
need
are
any help.
Just looking. But if they didn't have ice cream and they weren't above the age of 60, they were looking for something. But it was wild how many like new salespeople would come in. They said they were just looking. And when I started selling, I remember having a sales manager. They said they were just looking. He's like, so once you start training in it, it's like, great. What are you looking for? Car, truck, SUV. Well, we're actually looking for my daughter's about to turn 16 and she needs a car. Now you know what they're looking for. Like, you go into, if I go into Buckle and I'm looking for pants, they're like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "No, I'm just looking."
Yep,
I still
just
do it.
looking.
I still do it.
Immediately.
I still
You
do
don't
it.
even know you're going to do it. You have no option. Just
yeah.
looking.
I literally just, it rolls off my tongue. I'm like, I'm a douche. I'm like, why did I say that? I'm like, I need help with pants.
And then
Help.
5 seconds later, you're like, "Shit, how do I go ask him for help?"
Yeah.
I told him I'm just looking.
Exactly. And then I'm like, kind of like wandering around, like, come back over here.
Okay, I've
Like,
decided to ask.
I
I've
didn't-
decided
I
now.
didn't find what I'm looking for. I'm like, but it's crazy how fast that just like rolls off everyone's tongue. Like, oh no, I'm just looking.
There's a study done on that. I read it one time. I can't remember. I wish I could remember it off the top of my head. It was fascinating.
Like, why the
Like-
fuck else did I walk into Buckle? I'm just,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
not-
just looking at Buckle.
yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
just browsing. I promise you, I'm not just. I'm like, you know what? I decided I want to go walk around the Buckle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Especially
like
when it's not in a mall anymore. Like in
Yeah.
a mall, maybe you wander your way in there, but you're like going out of your way to get in the bar.
yeah, I parked, got out of my car, locked my car, walked across the parking lot, and came in that place
Yeah.
just to look.
Well, and here's the deal too. Like, I feel like people probably started saying that like before the internet was a thing, because you had to go to the store to find out what kind of shit they had.
Yeah.
Well, now, dude, if you're just looking, you're just looking on your laptop, your iPad.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if you actually truly are just looking, you're doing that on your couch. Like, if you're in a store now, or you're at a car lot, or if you're like going to an open house in real estate, like, dude, you're not just looking. Like,
Right.
Luckily, we don't have people just like walking off the street. They're like, "Oh, we're just looking at marketing." So luckily, we have gone.
that's
out.
actually how Dane and I met.
Brock rolled in the office. He's like, "Don't worry, I'm just looking.
I'm just
okay?"
looking.
I'm just
Yeah.
Just came here to see what you guys had on the walls.
Yeah. How did we get so deterred off of whatever the question was that we had here?
I feel like we were kind of on track.
Were we? What was the
It
question?
was about
Asking
asking
for
for help.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
just
yeah.
looking.
No, I'm just looking. Don't
I'm
worry.
just looking.
Next question.
All right, bringing it home here. We talked a little bit, and you kind of mentioned it a little bit too, about like how you were when you were younger and the things that you were good at versus the things that you're good at now. Doing a little more, retrospective looking here. Younger versions of you. There we go. You said that bottle wouldn't make it.
We're close. We're close.
Younger versions of you, what are the things that a younger version of you would be surprised by or disappointed in seeing the version of you today if you went back 10 years?
Let's start with Ricky this time.
I'd be a little disappointed in my hairline.
Ah,
That one came as a little bit of a surprise.
It just moved south, man.
It just disappeared.
Dude, you took
Well,
your
it just went from up here to right here.
You have South Beach on your head now,
Yeah,
bud.
I do. I do. Realistically, I feel like I'd be pretty damn excited. Everything with where we're at in life. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer to get where we're at, especially like even 6 years ago. I'd be pretty damn excited. I'm trying to think of something that I would have been maybe disappointed at, or
This is where the gratitude card plays in. The things you always wish for, and when you're consistent, you're disciplined, you do all the things, you end up where you're supposed to be. Most time it's light years of beyond what you thought was possible.
I totally agree with that, because now it's like I know we're going to keep progressing, and to try to think from now like where we're going to be in 10 years is pretty crazy.
I don't think you can actually judge on where you guys are going to be at in 12 months. Like,
Probably not.
that's the hard thing is like Ricky and I were texting over the weekend and just understanding what the hockey stick of growth looks like. That you grind. This is where everyone's quitting. And then all of a sudden you hit this growth metric that it's like, it doesn't really make sense. Like, and I feel like I'm in it right now that, I can't really like quantify how it's working. Like, it's going so fast that like when I'm looking at all the things and I'm looking at just all the stuff that's happening, like it's at a rate that I never like could wrap my head around, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does for sure. Kind of in the same boat as Ricky.
The hairline.
Probably more disappointed that I'm not in the MLB, but
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to remember. I mean, my mind is so scrambled anymore. Just like, what's the next thing? What do I have to do next? Like, how can I grow quicker? And I mean, unfortunately, I feel like I've just forgot what I wanted as a kid, but it's probably like literally everything that I have right now to a T, minus a yacht. Always wanted a yacht, man. I don't even know how to drive a boat, dude.
I actually don't. Never
So
actually
I'm gonna
done
need
one.
a captain, which is just kind of gonna delay the yacht a little bit longer because I don't you probably got to pay those guys like 150 grand a year.
Well, that just means it's going to be a big yacht.
I was
A
gonna
yacht
say,
worth
Oh
having.
no! Yeah, like we're gonna
Yeah.
be
So
it's
this is
like,
have a 26-foot boat with a captain.
no.
If you have
This is
anything,
Steve. You're gonna get real up close and personal with him today.
if you have something that meets the definition of a yacht, the owner's never the person actually driving the thing.
Yeah, no, I would not be. I would. You can't do bourbon and drive yachts at the same time. So
Legally.
yeah, legally, yeah,
that's
you could.
That's my plane debacle.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, I think back to the gratitude thing, and the goal thing. I think we've all achieved everything that we said we wanted to originally. I mean, I've got huge dreams. Don't get me wrong. Like really, really big dreams, but I don't think I necessarily thought I would achieve all of those at the age of 30. I think I kind of had realistic expectations, but
Can you restate the question one more time? Just we'll make sure I answer it correctly.
you're coughing.
I was coughing. I was dying over here. My head was hurting, about to explode.
you need a LaCroix.
Yeah, that's probably better than my bourbon.
Just looking back 10 years ago, Dane, things that you would be either disappointed in yourself or surprised by if the 10 years ago version of you saw where you're at today.
I don't know. I think if I ran into I've been 21-year-old Dane, I think he'd be high-fiving me right now. I think he'd be saying good work. Not so like I think most people look at it from a financial state. I think just of the man I became today to where I was. I think he'd be proud. And I don't know. I think that's a pretty hard area to always look at. That I understand those metrics, and most people correlate those things to once again materialistic things in our life. And I look at the friendships I have and the people I have around me and the company culture that we have and everything like that. And that means way more to me than anything else. And yeah.
Are you almost surprised by how much gratification you get from that?
Yeah.
I remember having conversations with Ashley 10 years ago. And, the goal was get married, have 2 kids, build a house, and, be happy. And we've done all that and then some. Just be proud, man.
I don't know. I think the wildest thing is like when you think about it, that everything that adds up to this 10 years ago wasn't even in the ether.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a hard thing for me to think about a lot of times is dang, 10 years ago didn't know this existed.
That's the hard part of being the types of people that we all are, is that you're so like, what's next, what's coming, work hard, head down, like keep pushing. You never take a second to stop and just and breathe,
Yeah.
like just put the shovel down for a minute and just see how much progress you've actually made along the way. So it's nice to take a step back sometimes and just look at like, hey, you're always working. We're going to keep working. Like that's not going to change, but to appreciate where you've gotten, So yeah, I think it's important for us to take those times. And that's why it's good for us to also build that culture within companies, right? Is that every once in a while taking a breath and saying, hey, we're doing good work here. Unless you're not, in which case, give us a call, mossmarketinggroup.com. We'd love to do an audit on your current marketing and where we can help.
But I think for the longest time, I was always caught up in where my one factor of, or my one measurement of success had to be business. It had to be a financial state, whatever that may be. Yeah. And I'm way more proud of the brother I became today, the husband I became today to Madison, and those are things I look more to progress on. The friend that I am to the people around me. I think that's what I'm most proud of, is becoming that person to so many people around, that the money's not buried with any of us. So
yeah, I think one lesson I don't know how to describe it. A lesson I learned in a tough way, but one that I'm really glad that I learned, was one of regret, in the sense of where I would put my goals and my time and what I thought was really important. Am I going to regret it one day if I don't become a billionaire? Am I going to be on my deathbed and regret the fact that I only work 70-hour work weeks instead of 90-hour work weeks? But I do know that I had a deep sense of regret of not having done enough for my sister when she was alive, being more involved with my sister when she was alive, having, I wish I would have visited her more, talked to her more, all those things. And like that now is a sense of regret, of like, now I know where regret lives. Regret lives in relationships and how you show up for people and how you give back to the world. And it shifts those things, right? To where now when you talk about the things that really matter to you, it's not about a financial state. It's not about the physical, tangible objects. It's about people and many different things. And so how we, all the way down to the companies that we support. Like we talk about, the biggest wins that we have is when we see our companies win that we work with. So it's really prioritizing time, effort, resources towards the things that you're never going to regret those things going there.
Which, like, to your point that I was really bad about this for a long time, and I still catch myself doing it, but it's wild. I also catch myself in meetings where I don't do it anymore. But you talk on a state of losing your sister, and you breeze over all that, and you have to correlate it back into business because we're podcasting. Like, it's a wild world that we live in, that everything has to correlate back into that ecosystem. And when I used to podcast, I used to think, and I think that's what has pushed me away from podcasting the last few months, is like I've gotten a lot better grasp on that. I don't care about correlating it all back into business anymore. I don't. Like, it's when I genuinely have somebody around me that I genuinely like being around, I don't care if business fucking plays any role in it, any way, shape, or form. Like, I don't. Like, and it's, business will always be there. Business will come and go. It will scale. It will do all the things, and we can put our best foot forward every single day. But I can't control a year from now. I can't control a year that we had in middle of 2025. What I can control is what we did today. And I can control what we do tomorrow. And that is what is in my control. But then the separation of those things is I became more disconnected from work than I've ever been in the last 3 months. And it has brought more peace to me in my life than ever before. And I think that's why I've struggled podcasting, because podcasting has always been this, like, some sort of like,
Got to wrap it all up and make the potential clients
exactly. It's like
find you attractive. And
like, if we got on here and we podcasted for an hour and it had zero to fucking do with business, I'm fine with that. I don't care. Like, I truly don't. I would, and I think that's one of those things that we talk about, that that false thing that we've spoke about to what reality is, those beliefs. Like, I've always wanted to believe that the podcast was supposed to be this business sales funnel from the side.
Like it's a lead gen
Yeah.
thing.
I'm perfectly fine getting on here and talking 200% the whole entire time. And if any of it directs back into business, great. If it doesn't, I don't give a shit. Like, this first time I fucking teared up on a fucking podcast, I think, ever.
Either that means I get to ask more questions or I don't get to ask any more questions on podcasts.
I think
But
you had some fucking kick-ass questions.
But it's also like,
Hell
I
yeah.
literally was telling Madison before I came down, I was like, I'm also okay with if the podcast doesn't turn into, it's like all these like business owners' backgrounds and things like that. And it turns into more of just like a truly like who we are as a company, and who people that truly run in our circles around us are the ones that are on here that can have these kind of conversations. And if
just, and they're just as impactful conversations, right? Like, we didn't dial into KPIs and metrics and conversion rates and all that stuff, but all the things that we're talking about right now are things that all of us would have conversations around other people with. Like, all the people that we are connected with have these same types of conversations. So it's just as relatable to anybody else as it is a business owner or a leader of a business or whatever it is.
I think that's a great point, and I haven't listened to all of the podcasts, but I've listened to a lot of them.
you haven't listened to all of them.
No, hell no.
Unacceptable.
Dane's not listening to all the podcasts.
You don't have them
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
in the gym.
I don't listen to any of them.
We don't play.
I actually hate listening to myself speak, so I don't listen to any of them.
But I would argue that like this podcast will help more people than a podcast about KPIs or conversion or, whatever. Like, this is relatable shit, man. I mean, everyone struggles. Everyone needs help. Like, no one has ever got to where they want to go just like unscathed, with no friction, no setbacks, like no challenges. I mean, that's just not a real thing.
Absolutely.
And if they did, they lost it all. I fucking guarantee.
Which
right.
I agree with in a huge way. But I think this is, once again, like, it's not a scale of like it's 1 or 100, which I feel like there's so many people that look at in today's world that it's the first hard thing that they face is like, oh, I'm out. Like,
yeah.
I listened to this podcast. They said hard things. Like, I can't deal with it. Like, you still need to face hard things in your life. You still need to talk to people. You still need to do the things. But it's also, when you hit those next levels, like talking to people, but facing those hard things is still great for you. Like, dealing with the challenges, like what are challenges that you're taking on, and understanding just how to level up as a person. Life is not supposed to be easy. And it's like, the amount of people that we've had come into our walls are like, I want to make all this money, but like, I don't really like the fact that I have to talk to customers every week. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, again, I think that goes
Like-
back to, like, talking about challenges and overcoming those challenges. Like, it comes back to your value in the market, and that can be your value in the market of business. Like, hey, I'm a CEO level prospect because I solve really large issues on my own. Like, I have the skill set to handle that. Or, hey, I'm, able and willing to work. I can cook. I can take care of children. I'm a provider and a protector of a potential family. And then guess what? Your market value in the relationship world is also on the higher end, like, or a friend.
And
Like,
it-
you can talk to me, you get where I'm going.
I show up as a friend. Yeah.
There you go.
There's a value in friendship. There's a value in business. There's a value in relationships. And it's like, you also have to find the opposite side that sees the value, that the value is only in the eye of the beholder.
Yep.
To where it's like, I've always told people, things are only valued at what someone's willing to pay for it. To where that can say is like, if you're going to get in a relationship and you're going to get married, like, the value of your wife or your significant other is only in the value of what you see. So, and that can be different. We can have 4 men sitting here and see a completely different value in a significant other. And I mean, they wrote a fucking book on, what is it, the 7 love languages or whatever.
5 love languages.
5 love languages. I haven't read it, but it's like, I know what they are. Not really, but
Sure do.
I don't know if it's 5 or 7. So
No, a couple of them though.
yeah, I know a few of them, but it's just like, you look at that as, once again, it's in the eye of the beholder of what they're looking for. And somebody could say, hey, Alex is really good at showing this. Hey, Dane's really good at showing this. Brock's really good at showing this. Ricky's really good at showing this. And you have one female standing there that's like, oh, I'm looking for this one thing. And it could be Alex, or it could be Ricky or Brock, whoever it may be. So it's the same thing in business. It's the same thing in whatever it may be. And I just think that's whatever that value is and whatever it may be. And in a business, you have different hierarchy of leadership. And I look at what CEOs get paid of Chipotle and Southwest and things like that. But then I also, like, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at what a CEO of Southwest gets paid for. And I'm like, do I really want to be blasted over every single news station, like on live camera, like every single time something, like where we have a problem, it doesn't go out. Nobody even makes a Facebook post about it. Like we have a problem, and like with a client, and it's like, oh, we need a phone call today at 11. We'll get it handled. And I'm like, oh, Southwest had a problem. It's on the fucking news, like every news station, and this CEO's like front and center being scolded. And I'm like, that doesn't sound that fucking cool.
Yeah, our problems
not
don't
that
really
cool.
our problems don't really hit the press yet.
No, and it's like, so it's the weight of those problems that people are like, oh, anybody can be a CEO. I'm like, oh, great. You're going on the news today and you're going to get ridiculed by everyone. They're like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, oh, you don't get paid $22 million a year.
Yeah.
Or $45 million a year. Whatever.
I worked at a company before that was massive, and I got to meet the CEO twice. And in one of those, I said, what does your day typically look like? He said, lawyers, depositions.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally all I do now is the biggest fires. I'm that firefighter. I don't get to do any of the fun shit. No, everything I do is nothing but the worst fires that we have globally. It's nothing but depositions and lawyers.
Like yesterday was one of those days that most days I get to catch a lot of like great things. I get to sit with like leadership. And I get to put in my 2 cents on different things moving forward. But like yesterday was one of those days I didn't get that. And I just got fucking fires over and over and over and fucking over all day. And then it carried over into my fucking home life for another hour and a half, sitting in my bourbon room at the house, taking on more phone calls. And it was just like, some of those days I'm like literally sitting there, I'm like, is this the idea or should I be working at Burger King?
There are some days, man. There are some days where I'm like, you know what? Those people flipping burgers, not really caring about shit. They clock in, they clock out. I'm like,
You know
Sometimes
what I think about, dude? There's a bartender or a fisherman down in the Caribbean right now, and it's 83 and sunny every day.
dude, I
And
have,
that guy is 1,000 times happier than this.
dude, it's lucky I had Madison, because I mean, when I've went down to Cabo and stuff like that, and I've been sitting at a bar and I'm like, how'd you end up here? And you start talking to them, they're like, oh, I just came down and I thought it was great. And I just stayed. And I'm like,
I was having
There's-
such a good time. I just didn't leave.
There's this burger joint in St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's called Skinny Legs, and it's right down the hill from the house we stay in. And we were talking to someone who worked there one day, and I said, "How did this place get started? You know, what's the story?" And they're like, "Yeah, 2 gigantic, like major Boston attorneys, like big guys, came down for vacation with their families, I think, just like for a week or whatever. And of course, they had already accumulated wealth and whatever. And they liked it so much, and they were so relaxed and away from their life that they stayed, sold their houses. This is the story I was told. Didn't go back, like sold their houses remotely
as is.
Like just called an agent and they were like, hey, I'm not coming back. Like there's a moving company who's going to come get all my stuff. They're going to ship it, 25% of it.
You can leave the coats.
Yeah. Down to me in the islands. And I just want you to sell it. I'm gone. And they never left. They just opened a
That's
burger
fucking
joint.
sick.
I've been close to that before. I've literally went to places that I've had enough confidence with. It's the main thing is like I just have my friend group around here. I have like, and it is wild that you meet so many people that like don't have a friend circle around where they live. They don't have like that group of people. They don't have. There's like no ties, like. But there's been times that Madison and I've been places that I'm like, well, if we just sold it all and came here.
Stayed.
Yeah. Like we have a lot of positive equity in everything we own, and it's just like I'm like we could put a ton of money in the bank, and I was like we could live off interest of this money, and I'm like
Let it ride.
I'm like we could make a great living here.
So to wrap it all up, what is a conversation?
Alex said he's done. He said he's done with you, Brock.
That's exactly how I said it.
Yeah.
To wrap it all up, in the conversations we've had, I'm always big about takeaways, take homes, things that are going to stick with you tomorrow. What's a conversation that we had, a point you said, or a realization you had, or a point you heard someone else say that tomorrow about your day is going to come back and you're going to think about it? We talked about gratitude. We talked about asking for help. We talked about reflecting on the progress, talking about the better men that we want to be, the better leaders we want to be in 2026. We all just kind of default looked at you, Rick.
Yeah.
I just looked where Alex looked.
I think I think to kind of combine those topics and also apply it to my own situation, I guess. I think giving people more patience to sit and help them grow, kind of to what Dane had mentioned about when you would pop in and talk to your dad when he was had an open moment in his office. I think right now I kind of let stuff like that kind of get me off my headspace of whatever I need to be doing.
I do the
When
same.
in reality, those are the things that are going to move tomorrow forward. Whereas whatever I'm doing right now, is it important and urgent? Yes, but that's only going to move. It might close a deal this week as opposed to like helping somebody grow in the long term. Obviously, you can still do both, but just having more patience with people when they are asking for help.
Yeah. I
That was
think
a big one to follow up.
Yeah, that's tough.
He goes, yeah.
I think it would just be, if I could fix something about myself, it would just be to tell myself like, hey, you don't have to be Superman. Like, to your point, like you can lean on other people when it's appropriate and ask for help and realize that you're not alone. I think entrepreneurship in general is like extremely lonely. And it's hard to find people to relate to or bounce ideas off of. So not being afraid to be vulnerable, like take the ego away, like Ricky said, is huge. That's a huge takeaway for me. I think gratitude's another one. Like I was kind of caught off guard when I think the question maybe I didn't understand or it got transcribed differently later on. But I was just thinking about like when I was a kid, like what when you're 30, what did you think you were going to be doing or whatever? And obviously Dane was a little taken aback by that question, and I was too, but I almost felt guilty, like, I have what I wanted, like, and I think it's easy to not. I know for a fact, like Dane and I have had this exact same conversation before. I can't name one time I ever celebrated like any success in my career. I mean, I've onboarded I've onboarded institutional investors who have sent me proof of funds for $800 million in cash as a 24-year-old. And it was like, okay, time to go find them some houses, you know? Like there's never like, that's just one example, but like there's never a celebration of, hey dude, you're doing a good job. Like that doesn't just happen, you know, like you have to earn things similar to that. And you get stuck in this hamster wheel of like, just keep going, you know, like just keep pushing and sitting down and taking a breath and being with your friends and enjoying a moment and saying, hey, you know what? I did a good job. Like that is commendable. I think like it takes a suppressant of ego to actually tell yourself good job. And I think it's healthy. And then the other one is my last one is just like, again, I think this is probably the biggest takeaway for me, but just like, again, just know you like, you're not alone. Like if you're in whatever journey you're in, it doesn't matter if it's entrepreneurship or if you're a W-2 employee who's just like trying to save up money to go do their thing, or maybe they just want to be a W-2 employee and help build that company to the best of their ability. Like that's cool, dude. Like that's commendable. And just know that like, you're not the only person who has been in the position that you're in right now. And there are people who are willing and able, like truly want to help you. I don't think we have enough of that in our culture of just like being vulnerable and showing emotion and you know, telling people that they're doing a good job and it's okay. That's it.
Well, we had two strong ones there. So I'll agree with Ricky because I think a lot of times I get guilty of that too, that I get a lot of things built up that I don't give the people the time around me sometimes, that I feel the issue that I have at stake is a larger issue than they have, when ultimately they're equal in the size. So it's the issue at hand that they have is the exact same size to them as the issue that I have at hand for me. So I think I do need to be better at that. I think sometimes I get a little caught up in the moment in that. And to Brock's point, like I will say probably the thing that always gets me the most emotional is like looking back in time and looking at my younger self and just looking at all those things that I've been through in life. And I'm never going to play the victim card. I'm never going to play the thing is poor me or whatever. And my story always has been the easy route is what I've showed the world. I've never showed the world the hard route that I've had. I don't need to show the world that. And I don't care to show the world that. But it's one of those things that you look at the gratitude, you just look at all the things that life has turned into, and the thing that you look at so many people that they ask who you look up to, they ask who your heroes are, and your heroes should be yourself in the future. So God, I fucking suck when it comes to this kind of shit. Like, I don't know why this like one thing just wrecks me as a whole all the time. And it's like, Madison will say the same thing. She's like, I just don't bring this up. But it's just like, I think that becoming the version of who you're supposed to be is so valuable. And so many people just let that slip away in life, and before they know it, it's all gone.
So you don't want to let the kid version of you down, man. You also don't want to disappoint the 80-year-old version of you. It's a hard thing.
If I make it 80, that'll be a sight. Hopefully I make it that. If I make it 70,
we ain't going that long, brother.
Yeah. Too big to make it to 80.
Sprint, not a marathon in here. But I think that's kind of the whole point, though, right? As we talked about, just the things you care about, the things you're prioritizing, all coming full circle here. And now
you have to answer this fucking question too.
Yeah,
You ain't getting out of this shit either. Yeah.
He said, and with that, like and subscribe.
yeah. With that, smash the subscribe button and like it. No, I think that the part for me was, I came in here with a lot of questions geared really towards you guys. But I was like, I think it's a good question about the asking for help piece, just because like that's something that I've always struggled with, and went through periods of time where I'm like, we and Danny and I have talked about it a lot. We had very similar upbringings. Like, my mom was working from Homeland Security, my dad Marine. I just grew up in a household where it was just get the fuck over it and figure it out. There wasn't a whole lot of softness, nurturing, things
Emotion.
like that. No, none of that. And as I've gotten older, matured, I think I will always have an ego. I think that everybody always has some bit of an ego. I've gotten better about letting that ego go.
I do think your confidence gets to a level, the ego kind of starts disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
That it will. I used to think I was a really confident person, but I had the biggest ego issue. And that after I like truly became comfortable around people, I feel like my ego is like disappeared. Like I've just like watched it like dissipate. That I'm like, no, the people around me like know me for who I am. Like all the things that live around me and them knowing who I am. I do think I do think that changes with time. So I don't know. I think that.
Well, I'll tell you from an outsider's perspective, I run into you every now and then at the office, and especially at the golf tournaments.
Yeah.
And most people come off as kind of, let's puff the chest out a little bit. Like, I'm hanging with the big dogs here. This golf tournament costs, $5,000 just to buy into. Like, I'm around a lot of big people, and you've always come across to me as genuine. Like,
Thank you.
I don't feel like you have a front up. Like, I think you come across as you, as far as I can tell, and I don't really know you all that well, but you should be proud of, again, I to Dane's point, like maybe having a certain degree of confidence to where you are comfortable enough to maybe be who you are. And I mean, the answer to that question better than anybody, but
yeah,
that's just an outsider's perspective. So
thank you.
It's one of those things that I struggle with a long time, of the point when the world thought I had the most things was when I was the most insecure about myself. I had the new house on the golf course. I had the 3 new cars in the driveway. I had the wife. I had all the things. Like, I had the big bank account. I was so insecure as a person. It's like embarrassing, even like, and I think that's why I get so caught up in like those moments, like looking back at myself, because I know the state that version of myself was in. And quite frankly, it's embarrassing. Like, it's embarrassing that I had such an imposter syndrome. I had such a state of, I had zero idea who I was. I hated who I was. Nothing in my life was aligned. I had financial means, but my relationship at home wasn't great. My relationship with my brother was terrible. Relationship with my dad, and we never spoke. Like, all the things that life is supposed to be about, I didn't have any of them.
I think that's when you say embarrassing. I think that to me is like the best part of having conversations like that people can listen to, is because when you say it's embarrassing, everyone who listens to this is gonna be able to hear you say that and say, "Yep, been there," or "Yep, I am there." Right? To where it's like so many people are gonna hear this and say, it's so nice. And to your point earlier, was like you listen to people and they make everything sound so unrelatable. Like, life is just on easy mode, and you are just given a lottery ticket. But when you see someone in a place that you want to be, say, I had imposter syndrome and I struggled with this and I was in a bad place and blah, blah, blah. That to me is one of the biggest takeaways people can have is that, like, yeah, like, it's not just me. I'm not alone. I'm not the outlier and everybody else just has life figured out. People who have life figured out have been in or are in the same place that I'm in right now, you know? So to me, like, that is a huge takeaway for us here sitting in the room and people that listen to this.
And I think that one of the hardest things people, I think a denial state is the worst state to ever be in, because I was in a denial state. So I've always talked about the pyramid of life that you have: survival, status, freedom, purpose, that people are going through. And I was living in so much of a status world.
Is this the
Ed Milet or
Patrick Bet David?
Patrick Bet David
Your
talks
next
about-
best move.
Yep, your
Yeah.
next 5 moves.
Or next time.
But when you talk about that pyramid of life, like, I saw, and I think there's a majority of our world lives in a status state.
yeah, I think it's our country.
I think our country, I think
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
people just, it's a keeping up with the Joneses type movement.
100%.
But what people don't realize is, like, I was stuck in that sector of the pyramid of life, and there was no way out for me. Like, I couldn't formulate a roadmap to get to freedom. To where it's like something I've always worked with MMG, I've always worked with the people that are around me. Like, my biggest accolade that I can sit with here, like, I can't wait for 3 years from now to sit at this same spot, to have this same podcast. And what I can say is that I progress people from status to freedom.
Yeah, I would jump in, and this is the last thing I need to say, but we haven't officially offered
he
it
has
yet.
nothing more to say.
I have literally no more words.
Emptying the tank after
Losing
this.
my voice. I mean, I would just say, like, if you are a person watching this and, like, you are like, holy shit, yeah, I'm the guy that they're talking about, dude. Like, I'm fucking struggling my ass off. I don't know what to do. Like, shoot, I mean, message me. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Any of us.
yeah. I don't care. I don't need anything from you. Like,
Right.
let's go grab lunch or whatever. I mean, be realistic with it. But, like I want to, I mean, I would like to help you. I wish someone would offer that to me.
Which I will say I've flirted that line, and these two can both attest to that. That I'm really quick to meet with people, really quick to give people the benefit of the doubt. But there's also people that have, if we're going to say there's 100 puzzle pieces that are needed, they have 0 of them. And it's just them making rash fucking statements. And they think just getting around people that have done better is their value in. And so I have had to become more disciplined on that forefront, because we're out there a lot and we're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this is
But-
not the hey, come meet me for coffee. I got something I want to bounce
But
off of you.
Right.
There's
Exactly.
nothing more than, it's like, my biggest fucking pet peeve is when people are like, hey, let's go get coffee so I can pick your brain.
Yeah.
Like, you want to send Brock and myself, Ricky, Alex, put us in a fucking group on Instagram for all I care, and send us your, if you're a business owner, you probably don't have a resume, but send us your overall business plan of where you're going in the next 3 years and what you've done over the past 3 years. And you could probably get a lunch with the 4 of
Yeah.
us.
And what you're struggling with.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
what's
what-
hard?
what-
like,
what are you struggling with?
yeah, what can we help you with? And hey, guess what? 6 a.m., baby.
But
you know
like-
where to see us.
6 a.m.
But
Come on in.
The wild thing is, like, the right person sends us that's listening to this, I have no problem paying for 5 of us to go to Capitol and go help someone.
Oh no, yeah.
I like going cap. I like eating. We go to AVs. I don't care.
I've never been to a restaurant with Dane and like walked in and like people didn't greet him.
Like people recognize him? Or
Yeah, we walk in.
That's
We
just
walk
because
in.
I'm a degenerate and I go a lot.
On that note, we went to Capitol last time and we came back to the office and I was like, I'm kind of fucked up right now. Like,
It was lunch.
What's that drink called?
The Stoli Doilies.
oh yeah, we came back from lunch and I was like, I'm kind of fucked up right now. So I'm gonna go hide in the office and close the door.
No, the one thing you need to do is you just need to go everywhere and make sure valet all knows you. So when I roll up, no matter what level of people I roll up with,
Valet at least knows the name.
exactly. So I roll up, and it's funny because I'll roll up with people that are, once again, I'm the smallest. Excuse me. I'm the smallest guy in the room pulling up. And I roll up and I give them my keys and like, we got you, Mr. Moss. And then I'm like, do you get like a ticket or anything? I was like, no, they know me. And they're like, we'll keep it right out front for you. I was like, all right. And I'm like, there's a value point to that.
There is. There absolutely
And
is.
So
same
yeah,
thing.
I mean, message us.
Yeah.
We're going to Capitol.
I would love if every podcast we put up led to one lunch or dinner at a nice restaurant that we go help one person.
That would literally be more fulfilling. I mean, this is not my podcast. I do not.
It kind of feels like you're trying to take it over. Kind of feels.
But
welcome to the
fulfillment.
Are you trying to hijack
welcome
this?
to the B3 podcast. Anyways,
Don't make me
I'll
laugh,
just tag
dude. I
along
got
with these
cough.
guys who are super cool, way cooler than me, and have their own podcast to Capitol whenever you need help.
Yeah. Alex, you got anything left? Anything left?
I think
my
that-
cough
Dan
is
might
about
be
to
on his
put me out.
last word over there.
Yep, this is the last I got for my life, but
Can you handle the closeout? Because those are all. That was my entire arc.
that's it.
That was the closeout.
Ricky, anything left for you over there?
That's it, man. Thank you
Brock.
for listening.
Peace.
I truly appreciate it. Every single time. Second time. you've
Every
been on.
single time, twice.
All
Both
two
all
times.
times.
Yeah. You're definitely gonna be on more because I enjoy this a lot and I'm doing a lot more things that I enjoy. So this will be much more common. So we'll keep working out here. Very, very appreciative of our friendship.
Likewise, brother.
Way beyond a business forefront, just who you are as a person. The world needs more people like you. So you make the world a better place. Keep doing what you are doing as a husband and being a prime example of what that's supposed to be. Prime example of what a father's supposed to be. You're raising two amazing children. So keep it up.
I am unsure of how I'm supposed to top that.
You don't get to because this is my podcast. So that is the M3 podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. See us again next time.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the M3 Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Want to learn more? Check us out on Instagram at Moss Marketing Group, on Facebook at Moss Marketing 58, or on our website at mossmarketinggroup.com.